project which help you to manage your cloud native infrastructure in different environments. You can learn more about the Meshery in the docs.meshery.io. There is so much to learn about, so you can check the docs out. Before starting, we have a couple of housekeeping items that we will be discussing. We will be doing. First is to make sure that you add your names in the attendees list, and second is we always encourage newcomers to introduce themselves in the meeting. So if you're joining the today's meeting first time, I will encourage you to unmute yourself and give in small introduction, maybe your name, where you live from, and what you do, anything that you want to share. Mayo, I think you are joining first time. Maybe you would like to share something, introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'm Mayo. I'm from Japan and I live in Tokyo, and I currently work in Mercari and as an infrastructure engineer. So I'm familiar with Kubernetes and the networking, and I'm pretty interested in networking and the Kubernetes related things. So I have interested in Meshery, and in my previous work experience, I also worked on an service mesh project. So that's really funny. So I think I can bring something to Meshery, and I hope Meshery can.
Thank you, Mao. Great to have you here. Okay, thank you, Mao. So,
Okay.
Daehyun, if I'm pronouncing it right, maybe you would like to go next and introduce yourself.
Okay, hi. I'm a senior college student in South Korea currently, and I'm interested in DevOps and platform engineering now and all this. And eventually, I want to become a solution architect. And I am familiar with Golang and Kubernetes and AWS. And I have experience that I interned once worked with Ansible and OCI, Oracle Cloud, and Kubernetes and Cloud Formation, etc. So actually, I don't speak English very well, so I hope you can understand my situation. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Daehyun. I'm pretty sure that there are many things that you can get your hands into. So, Ashparsh, I think you are joining first time. Maybe you would like to go, or Suraj. If you are not able to unmute yourself, you can introduce yourself in the chat anytime.
Oh, actually, I'm not joining for the very first time. I've been contributing since 4-5 months, so I'm not.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. Okay, so let's move forward with the items if there is no one. I think all are familiar right now. So let's jump to the items. So first we have from the Deepak, I guess. Deepak, would you like to go and share about the need for volunteer for the dogs?
Yes. Basically, some of the tutorials have been pending since long time, like these newly created issues like installing Prometheus into the Meshery playground. You can refer the some of the tutorials from the Meshery and just pass on these tutorials. Here are some of the tutorials you can see, like exploring Kubernetes pods, Kubernetes cron jobs, and all those things. If you are a newcomer into this tutorials part, I recommend to see these tutorials, how they are made and what is a template. I mean, you can see that how things are made. Like you can see that screenshots, like how how contributors are contributing in this tutorials section, and just overcome those and just make tutorials on this on these things. Yeah, that's the agenda for now.
Thank you. Maybe okay. Thank you, Deepak. There are a couple of issues already created by Deepak. I will suggest and encourage you guys if you are interested in contributing in the part of tutorial, you can like comment on those issues so that Deepan can know that you are interested and assign that issue to you. Let me share my screen again.
Can I just add on to something? If you're interested in DevOps, I would recommend that you, perhaps as if you're new to the project, this is a really great way to practice your skills in that area because you learn along as you create these tutorials. And of course, the discussion forum and community is always there to assist you because being new doesn't always mean that you're an expert in it. And we have people in the community who are expert in whatever topic that you're trying to get into. And so if you do choose to take on one of these tutorials, then please don't hesitate because you feel like your knowledge is too fundamental or you're just a beginner.
Yep, learn by doing always helps.
Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's a really great counsel. I will suggest you guys to. Okay, so Mohak, would you like to go next on your item?
One quick thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, one quick thing to add to what Sandra said, if I could. It's just like she was saying, if you're a little bit uncomfortable or you're not quite sure, and you ask some, remedial questions, don't worry, we will certainly make fun of you for it. So don't worry about that. So, okay.
You will sweat along the way while you're being made fun of, but it's you're being made fun of in a very constructive way that will build you. So I encourage you to take this on with a growth mindset, meaning that yes, it's challenging. Yes, you might not know 60% of what's going on, but the community is on your side and here to assist you.
Yes, absolutely. Even we have discussion forum for it. If any questions, you can ask from the discussion forum and Slack. That could help you.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So Mohak, I think now you would like to go and share your screen.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. You don't need to call me sir, but yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, sir, I was working on this issue. So, I'm not sure about this community link. So, this is the Meshery page. So, this is the community link. So, do I have to migrate all this into one single page like this? 1 second. That's the, yeah, that's the demo. So, okay, so just let me
Mohak, just before going forward, I just want to ask you, is this related to the Meshery.io website, the issue?
Yes, sir. So,
So
yeah.
thank you, Mohak. We mostly discuss website items in the Monday's website meeting. I will encourage you to also share in that if you can.
Oh, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Do
I
you know?
have a webcam, but there is no electricity in my house right now. So,
So yeah, so you'd
that's
look,
why.
yeah, is Rex on? So you'd look about like Rex normally does for us then, I think, on that. Oh, oops. Oh. Okay, terrible jokes today. Hey, this is if we talk about this for just a moment, this is a nice feature to have. So Chris, who's on the call, and Akshay, who's on the call, both of these gentlemen have recently authored blog posts on Meshery, and we do what we can to get the word out about them, about those blog posts. One of the ways that we can get that word out there is to have have this feed, this community feed. I guess it's called, I created this 4 years ago, dear Lord. And I guess it was called a community feed because, well, the idea is that any number of you give talks about Meshery or host events here or write blog posts or have interesting tweets or I don't know, various variety of things go on. Or there's a new release that we have, and maybe there's some new features we want to tell people about or how to upgrade. And so a feed like this, like an RSS feed, well, can be quite helpful to have inside of Meshery itself. If you've used Meshery, you might have noticed that in the lower left-hand corner, it tells you what version of Meshery you're running. Great, that's helpful. I think you can click somewhere down in there and it'll take you to the release notes, and that's helpful. It'd be nice if some more of that was right inside of the tool. And so that's the backstory to what this is about. I think since I created it 4 years ago, it has Layer 5 IO community feed, but we can now change that to
Yes.
Meshery IO community feed.
Okay.
As an example implementation and code that you can literally reuse, and I'll point you to a few people in the community that can help you reuse this code. But by the way, do you enunciate it Mohawk? No, Mohawk.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mohawk. Yes.
Mohawk. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. In Layer 5 Cloud, in one of Meshery's remote providers, did you get a chance to see the feed that's out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you mind scrolling just for everyone to understand, and maybe everybody here is more than intelligent enough, everyone on the call, to have an opinion about
Yes.
this? If you scroll to the bottom of this screen real fast and you play that short video clip,
Yes, sir. Sure.
or maybe whoever's, yeah. So here's just a quick video clip of the RSS feed that you'll find inside of Meshery Cloud, Layer 5 Cloud. Wow, that was super
Yes.
fast clip. But have any of you seen feeds like this in
Yeah.
any?
Let me open the website.
Sure. A question for everybody out there that's on mute right now. One, if you have a webcam, turn it on. We'd love to see you. But two, have you contributed to any project, or not contributed? Have you seen any projects that have a feed? Anybody on the call? Have you? So not for Mohawk, not a question for Mohawk, but anybody else on the call, have you seen any projects that have a feed like this? And Mohawk, either your screen is frozen or...
Yes, sir. Actually, my screen is frozen.
Okay, so I'll show it real fast. Mayo, have you seen something like this? So here we are. This happens to be Layer 5 Cloud, but we want to do this same thing in Meshery. If you click here, you get a feed of recent blog posts. Oh, and we're participant. There's the CNCF tag network that we've talked about. There's an event that we're attending. So it's just kind of this feed of recent happenings, recent releases, recent features. Mayo, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think this is very yes, it's common. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Any specific projects come to mind that you've seen that in? Something like that?
Yeah, this is like is very common, like in some like newspaper,
Oh, yeah.
or yeah, or just like the Slack you can see the feed. Is that right?
Yeah. That's a great example. Like, yeah, in Slack, they'll have this, I don't know if it's like recent activities, or yeah, you can just kind of catch up on the feed. Linkerd is one project that comes to mind that has in their UI, Linkerd has a similar, well, blog feed or community feed. And so has anybody else seen examples of this in different projects? And does anyone think that it's not a great idea? Or that it should be done differently?
It's a great idea. It actually looks really good, especially the way it was implemented. It's just, unfortunately, and I know I've seen more like that. So it's not a bad idea if we are blazing the trail at the end of the day. It's like a win-win.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. Just to reiterate your point, it's like, hey, it's a great idea, whether we've seen it in other projects or not, doesn't detract from it being a great idea, or like we can blaze the trail is what you had said. So yeah, okay. Well, great. Thanks for letting me interrupt. There a little bit, guys. I just wanted to give everybody a chance to weigh in on something that I know everybody comprehends. Everybody's got an opinion about that. So.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you, Moak. I will also encourage you to present that in the website meeting. So let's go to Slug. So Slug, would you like to share about your items? I think you have a couple of items to discuss today.
Yeah, sure. So the first item is regarding, one second, I'll have to write this up. So there was the issue regarding the events page. The pagination was not working properly. So it's a small PR regarding that fix. So this PR fixes the pagination issue. Along with that, I was suggested to use various different points regarding the log that I created a few months back. So here are all the checklists that I was asked to perform. So here are them, and I've noted every point over here that Uzair mentioned in the comment section in the review. So yeah.
For the dynamic registration, did you also verify the adapter registration?
Yeah, so the adapter registration is done by the route, that component and generation relationship route. So wherever there was the function registry entity called, I went forward and called the function handle error, and as soon as the registration was complete, I went ahead and added that to the logs that we were generating at the start of the server. So yeah, I could show it over here. I could find the function.
I think, and that's okay. And other thing is, I think all of the review comments were not addressed because I still see inconsistent naming of query parameters like file or something, and also the APIs. So you should give a thought on what should be the name of that parameter, because file or such thing doesn't convey okay, what is the reason or what is the purpose for those. So use better naming for the APIs and variables.
So I thought about it. I will give it a thought. But the thing was that this particular route can be worked for downloading any particular file that we want in Meshery. So it was a generic function. If we pass in the file route and call that API endpoint, so we can download any particular file or view any particular document that is under the .meshery file route. So yeah, that's why I went ahead and added the name file over there at the route. One sec.
But still, if you
Yeah, I'll
add better. And also, have you updated the API or add the annotations like the way we document our REST API docs? So you need to add Swagger annotations for against that handlers, so that these are auto documented.
Yeah, I added them. It might be I can't find them, but yeah, I've added them. I went ahead and added
because
that.
previously when I saw, yeah.
Yeah. And regarding the any question regarding this issue?
And one last thing, where is the where you have exposed the button or an interface so that user can download those files?
Okay, so I'll have to run my server. I guess I'm not on the right branch. So okay, I have the image, I guess, in the PR, that I referenced over here. One sec. Yeah, so a user will get a download button as well as a view button. We were not sure what button to put, so I went ahead and added both of them, so we can remove one if we need. And whenever the user clicks the download button, he'll get a prompt to download that particular file. And whenever he clicks the view button, a new tab will open that will show all the items, all the entities that failed.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think this PR is ready for us. Just we might require some additional testing from other users, and then we can go ahead with this. Any questions from others?
Just a small question. The new page will be the Meshery page or Meshery UI, or the new page will be a random
No, this
for
is
the
just an
simple
event.
Chrome? Yeah,
Uh,
I'm asking you, after clicking on view, you said that user will redirect to a new tab and enter.
yeah, it will be redirected to the new tab, and that's the route that we are clicking on to view. That's API mesh model / view file question mark file equal to that particular location where the file exists. Before that, it will be localhost 9081.
So it will just show the logs in your browser. Just
Yeah, I could quickly
Just
show them.
for
Yeah.
clarity, the files that are being spoken about, what specific files are these? Because I'm aware that anybody can put a button to download, I don't know, a CV, documents related to whatever particular website in specific. Are these specific for users navigating to, like, what is the target user to download these files? Somebody looking to increase observability monitoring, what is it?
So whenever we start a server, we have different entities that register, means models, components, and relationship. So while registering, there are few of them that fail. So we are trying to keep log of it for showing to the user and for Meshery contributors as well, so they can get to know what the error was and which component is having the error that she can work on, or they can work on.
So once I get the information on the error, is it like an issue that I would have to create to resolve within the Meshery project? I'm trying to get to the goal of the information that I would get after downloading it. Like, how would I utilize? So I have the information, but how would I utilize it? Is it to solve a Meshery specific error from the log?
Yeah. So whenever we run the server, we have different components in mesh map. So while registering those components, we are getting the errors. So those components are not visible in the mesh map. So if we solve these errors, we'll be able to use those particular components in the mesh map. So that would help the end user. And this particular logs are a place where we can see, we don't have to manually search which components have been failing. Rather, we have just a particular page that dedicates whatever the issues were. So yeah, we'll add up more components to the mesh map.
Okay, makes a little bit more sense, I guess.
Any other questions? I guess I'll move forward. I can't read the chat, so I'll reply it after.
Yeah, I guess I have a question. Yeah, Schlock, did we update the Meshery API endpoints spreadsheet?
No, I haven't updated it. I'll keep in mind and I'll update it after the call or during the call.
Okay. Are there API docs for this new API?
Yeah, they will be generated because I've written the Swagger file, so it might be generated. It will be generated.
Okay, good. I guess maybe I should have asked a better question. How well written are those docs? I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Maybe.
The API endpoints are just basic endpoints that give us a utility to download.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm not asking you to re-explain it. I'm asking, did you do good documentation? And so I guess that's a poor question for me to ask, spending everyone's time on it. But if you would just, give it some additional consideration, make sure they're that your mom would be proud of you, I guess. Like, they're well written. If you would
have a look. Yeah, sure. Any other question regarding the Meshery CTL logs? So I've completed this two tasks. I'll start working on them today, and I'll complete it by today. I'll try to finish few of the issues that we were having regarding the YAML syntax error and stuff. By the end of the day, I'll reach the PR.
Nice. I have two other questions. One is that that log file that we're providing access to, will it also be available? So it'll be transiently, a link to it will be transiently available through the notification center. At the time of, I think you guys maybe said this before, but at the time of connecting to a Kubernetes cluster, right? Just after that?
uh, we can access that because it is there in the notification center. The event is there. But specifically, I've not generated an event regarding that after the registration is complete for the Kubernetes cluster. So I gave a thought about it, but since the Kubernetes cluster was having some uh, event of its own, so I didn't went ahead and added a new event regarding that. So we can reuse the event that we are generating over here.
Yeah, not generate a second event. You would just add to the existing event from that dynamic registration. And it looks like we have a time check. So I have one final
yeah.
question. Oh, shoot. Yeah, will you work with someone to help expose this, expose a link to the debug logs from the settings registry screen so that when people go to look for particular components that might be missing and they're looking through the registry, that they could also easily reference these logs?
Yeah, I've seen the Slack chat between you and Matthew. So you've mentioned Matthew to work on it. I'll assist Matthew regarding that. If he does, then it's okay, or I'll complete it myself. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, that's not the answer I was looking for, but yep, thanks. Good time check. So.
Yeah, sure.
Okay for me.
Thank you, Shlok. Rudraksh, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Sure, just a second. As many of you might have already went in like mesh map and tried to play around, you can see that we do not have much consistency between tooltips here and here and throughout Meshery UI too. And many of them are not very readable. So I was tasked with going around and hunting every tooltip and replacing them with the Systent one. Systent is a design library that we have that contains all our components, and we aim to use that throughout all our projects to maintain a consistent design language. And I have done that, raised a PR. It is ready for review and can be merged after that.
Thank you. That means from now, anyone who contribute and use the tooltip, they should use the assistant tooltip, right?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
And I'm hoping that that particular component that comes from the assistant is highly customizable. That can
Yeah,
be like
definitely. The component accepts JSX elements and Markdown strings, so you can use that to in the tooltips to format content.
Thank you very much, Rudraksh. Is there any other question for Rudraksh or Rudraksh? Do you have any other item that you want to share?
No other items right now. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Archit, do you want to go ahead and share about your categorizing permission page and docs? Is Archit with us today? Okay, I think he's not. Let's jump to the next topic. Uzair, would you like to share about your updates on the fixed connection states not available?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my item is around like the connection management and like how Meshery manages connection. So if you're not aware, Meshery has like bunch of integrations or connections that you can interact with. So most of them are like Kubernetes, Grafana, or Meshery itself is a connection, and Prometheus and all. So recently, and the status that you see are so every time you start a Meshery server, a bunch of connection definitions get registered. For example, like Kubernetes. So for Kubernetes, there is a connection definition defined, which includes like how to communicate with this connection or what are the possible transitions. So for connected state, like what other states that can transition to, or what are the possible states for this particular connection. And if you want to see or understand like how the life cycle of Kubernetes connection is managed, so this is a good reference to understand it. So recently we were faced with an issue wherein this next possible transitions were not visible or were not rendering in the UI. So this was very a small bug, but leading to a major problem for users, because they were not able to manage their connections properly. So the fix was very simple, and uh, it was just related to like we are not capturing we are not passing the connection definition correctly. It was a very single line change, but yeah. Any questions around this? This was basically a regression and introduced in one of the PRs. So I think that's it from my side.
Oof, that's it. Anything else by chance? I know you've got good stuff.
I had also. Other thing is, so as I said, like Meshery integrates with bunch of integrations like Prometheus, Grafana, and everything. And the way we manage or the way we generate those components is via integration spreadsheet. If someone has that link to the spreadsheet handy, it would be nice to share. So every night we go out to artifact repositories or GitHub repositories and try to generate components from their respective CRDs. So the issue with that was we were able to generate those components, but those components were like were not readily available to like use it. Or once they got generated, you were not able to use it because they were missing like icons or shape, or they were like not feasible or not in a good shape to be used. So this particular enhancement is regarding Meshery's ETL registry command. So in this, I'm ensuring whenever a new component, a new model gets generated, or when a new model is added inside this integration spreadsheet, we generate those components, and by default assign the model SVGs or model icons or model colors for those components, so that as soon as those components are generated, Meshery server or users can use those components. So this is the sheet that I'm talking about. And if you want to like contribute new models or new components or new relationships, there is a documentation added. There is a documentation around it, like how you can go and suggest new components, new integrations. I will quickly share the link. In the meantime, if anyone has doubt around what is this, what is the PR that I was talking about, feel free to ask.
Yeah, so this particular topic is quite central to how Meshery works. Some part of Meshery's value is the fact that it integrates with nearly every other CNCF project, or nearly anything, or it integrates with anything that runs on Kubernetes. The more Kubernetes native a given piece of software is, like another CNCF project, like the more custom resources that project has and the more operators that project has, the easier it is for Meshery as a tool, as a management tool, to configure it and control that other project's lifecycle. So Meshery uses CRDs from each of the other projects. Yeah, so I'm trying not to repeat anything that Uzair just said, but just reinforce the importance of that flow of what he's talking about. Schlock was presenting earlier about logs and this message that you might get that says, oh, some components couldn't be generated. Those components that Meshery works with, I think there's maybe a couple thousand somewhere in there. Those components is really a one-to-one relationship between a component and a custom resource definition. It's pretty similar, pretty one-to-one. A Meshery component is larger than or encompasses a custom resource definition. So we're in the video that we're watching or the screen that we're looking at, there's a custom resource definition. There's a component, a Meshery component. There's a bunch of them that are being looked at. Yeah, each one represents a CRD. So I figured I'd just interject that for a moment with those of us who are, still familiarizing. So anybody have questions on that? It's a pretty central topic. Some of us aren't even familiar enough to ask a question. It's like, yes, I have questions on this. I don't even know what question to ask at the moment. And that makes a lot of sense. One of the links that was shared in the Zoom chat, it talks about the registry. Maybe we can share it one more time. Uzair had shared it earlier. I'm interjecting for a moment because I do think it's something that all of us should attempt to digest and and grok, become familiar with. Meshery has this logical internal registry where it keeps track of all the different types of infrastructure that it can manage. And so if you want Meshery to manage Jaeger or Prometheus, then components for Jaeger and components for Prometheus need to be registered. They need to be in that internal registry. And you can imagine all of the other CNCF projects, some of them move really fast. They're adding new features or they're taking away features. And to try to keep pace with all of that change, because, a couple hundred integrations with a couple thousand components, my goodness, that's a lot of things to keep track of and change to keep track of. So what Uzair was saying is on a nightly basis, there's a GitHub workflow that kicks off and goes through the known list of the couple thousand components. That workflow goes out and refreshes them in case there's a new release of Jaeger or a new release of Prometheus. So it can refresh those components. How about any questions now? Does that concept, or the concepts that I was just conveying, does that remind you of any other projects?
It reminds me of Docker Hub as a registry, but then trying to understand Meshery and what we're talking about in the context in this context. I'm not putting the dots together too well, but just that's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Like if Uzair, if you're sharing your screen, if you were to navigate to like the settings page, the registry page, it's that this is kind of like looking at Docker Hub, so to speak. So in Docker Hub, if you go over there, there's usually there's an organization, and then that organization has any number of repositories. So if you think about it, there's right, what we're looking at right here, these models, these are the repositories. So if you want to work with the API 6 ingress and controller, this model that Uzair is just about to expand, well, there's a few different versions of that controller, so fine. So choose the one that you want to work with. And as you choose V080, well, there's 5 or so different components that Meshery has in this particular deployment of Meshery, the one that's running on Uzair's local machine. It has 5 different components for API 6 ingress controller for version 0.8. All right, neat. Okay, neat. Okay, so yeah, fine. I want to run this ingress controller, this particular one. Okay, fine. And I'm going to configure I'm going to it's going to sound weird, but I'm going to configure its cluster config. Okay, what can I configure for its cluster config? Like, knowing that it's an ingress controller, it probably has something to do with routes and servers and load balancers. And to look more in detail, though, one of the way Meshery has a couple of different ways that you can open up those components and explore them. So Uzair he went to mesh map as a visual way to do that. He grabbed it, dropped it onto the canvas, then he clicked on it, opened it up, and inside of this rich tooltip here, there's a spec. There's the custom resource definition, essentially, that we're looking at. And the fields here essentially come from that custom resource definition. And, you know, at some point, I don't know if you're like me, at some point, I'm like, oh, gosh, I don't want to type. I don't want to fill in more forms, more fields. Like I'd rather that, see that the line between cluster role binding, and service account, those three components are linked together. I'd rather just visually configure things. I'd rather like put things together or draw a circle around it or change its color and have that fill in the fields for me. And that's what, in part, what Meshery is attempting to do. So that line right there, oh yeah, like I get it. I get it just by looking at it. It's like that cluster role is now bound to that service account. Okay, because there's a line. So I visually comprehend that great. But that line is actually semantically meaningful. It actually means it holds a particular configuration. It's tying those things together. And you didn't have to fill in the field. You didn't have to type it in, like associate this to this. You just connected the dots, you know, you just drew the line. And because of that, the fields, when you go look at them later, they get automatically filled in. So for some of you, like Mayo and Dave, oh man, and Miss Kang, gosh, how do you say your first name? Miss Kang, I don't want to.
Hi, I'm Kang, but you can call me Isabel.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes it easy. Okay. That's like cheating. If I say Isabel, it's like, it's just sort of acknowledging defeat. Like I just can't do your first names. Say your first name one more time before I give up totally.
Hi, I'm Kang.
Oh yeah. So super easy. Dayang. Dayang Kang. All right. I'll get it. Dayang and Mayo have recently joined, and there's a bunch of folks that join every day. But I'm encouraged by these two in particular. They were interested at, I think part of the interest was around something like mapping out relationships, sort of mapping out the Kubernetes or the cloud native ecosystem. And some of that has to do with generating content or generating tutorials, helping comprehend how an API 6 cluster config, how it is supposed to relate to maybe a service endpoint, or I don't know what it relates to. I don't know. And that's why the project needs lots of help. When we understand that, how it relates to other components, we can fairly readily codify that, just write up a quick little description of the relationship that it has. It's like a little JSON doc. And Meshery will then understand that, it can relate to other components. And so you can now visually describe your infrastructure like that. So, okay. So Yash is probably going to skewer me at this point for taking up that much time. I just figured, hey, there's enough of us that are kind of new here. We're talking about registries and registration and confusing stuff. And anybody get any questions on that? Or I thought Sandra's analogy was great. Hey, I heard registry, I think Docker registry. Like, she's right. there's a ledger, so to speak. There's an internal registry where all these components are registered and kept track of. By the way, Docker containers that you push to Docker Hub, well, you can push them to Docker Hub in OCI format, which I think is something that Maya is familiar with. You can export or import Meshery designs as an OCI image. Like when you export that design that we were looking at, you can save it as an OCI image, which means, speaking of registries, you can take your Meshery design and push it to Docker Hub. You can push it to that registry. Kind of cool. Maybe not what you would have considered up front, but so anyway.
Thank you, Lee.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Like anybody, I'm like hanging by a thread here. Did it help anybody? Is anybody, it help Sandra?
I think I just have a comment. So far, I think the current logical architecture we have, or documentation, it's really a bit complex or hard to quickly understand. Probably the way you are explaining it, it makes more sense and people can understand. I think we need more blogs about these concepts, these architecture, logical, physical of Meshery, mesh map. So probably if we can see people to contribute on this, it will be great. Blogs about this.
I'm with you.
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, I will say please do put them in the chat, or you can ask them in the discuss forum. Although all meeting is always the right time to ask the questions. But let's move forward. And thank you, Innocent, for your feedback too. Sangram, would you like to share about your update on playground staging? Yes, Sangram with us today.
We don't
Okay,
have Sangram.
please. Okay, let's move forward. Ibrahim, do you like to go and share about your update? Is Ibrahim with us today also?
Hi.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Yes, I am. So I was blocked because I couldn't find the make targets in the Meshery adapter library for building components, but I've seen in the chat that was added a link to a reference. So
Ibrahim, like
that.
I think I didn't mention, but I meant to find those make targets inside the adapter itself, the adapter repository itself. For example, if you are working with Linkerd, then you will find those make targets for inside Linkerd adapter or Istio adapter.
Yeah, I checked those and I couldn't find anything to build the components.
Okay.
I'll probably check Meshery itself, but between the library and the adapter, I couldn't find anything. That's why. But I'll use the reference to Meshery. Maybe it'll work for me. I'll get back to you.
Ibrahim, I will also suggest you to go and check out in the discuss forum. It might be possible that someone also asked there, but yeah.
Okay, sure, will do.
Okay, so thank you, Ibrahim. Dan, would you like to go and share about your update on design import, use file name as design name?
Oh, yes. Actually, I've been thinking deeply about this issue for the first time, maybe a few hours ago just. So I checked the code and the location is, oh, can you share my screen?
Yes, please, you can share your screen.
Yeah, I think this point is problem, but I just wondering if replacing the initialization value with the par name will require changing the parameters of function. Is that right? So
yeah,
I was wondering the file name is already being passed from the front end.
Yeah, this is a good. So, Uzair, you might be in a good position to help answer this. Uzair, do you recall the goal of this particular issue? It's to avoid statically naming
Auto
input.
generate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So like any file we upload, it has a valid name, and we are also passing that name inside the request payload. So instead of using a default auto-generated name, the goal is to use the file name as a default name if an override or additional name is not provided. So if you have used Meshery UI, you have an option to provide a name for your design that you are importing. So if it is not provided or it is set to empty or untitled design, you can use the file name or the actual file name that you imported instead of auto-generated. So yes, you are in the right location. You just need to figure out how you can pass the file name from the request payload to this function.
Okay. But I don't know well in JavaScript.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think she's man. Dayang. Man. Anyway, yeah, I'm still trying. She is, I think she totally understood what you had said, Uzair. And it was already with you, was already there. And so she's actually, I think her question is, hey, which of these parameters should I go ahead and, contains that file name? Should I add a new parameter? Should this already? And I think Golang is her area of comfort and maybe less so React. I'm just guessing. And so how might she go about, certainly she can try to read the comments, of which there aren't necessarily a ton. So how might she go about identifying which of these variables or which of these parameters might already contain that file name? Any recommendation?
You need to add a new parameter inside the function signature. The current parameters doesn't include the name of the file, so you need to add a new parameter.
Oh, pardon.
You need to add a new parameter for this new pattern file from Kate's manifest function.
Yeah, I know. So I worry about that. If I change many file.
Sorry, if you change.
If I can change many file, I mean, it call just a file in Golang, and I think it is related to JavaScript also.
I think we can do one thing, like you can look for the source where it is implemented, and we already send the file from the UI itself. So what you can do is that you will in the API handler, you will receive the file and you can easily extract the file name from that file. So you need to look where this function is being used, and from there you can use the file name and pass to this function.
Oh, okay.
Because we already sending the data, that's why I'm saying.
Nice. Yeah. And so likely you're saying that likely she'll find that this particular function is used under the handlers folder, right? If you go, I wonder if you try to find it real fast, Dayan.
If you are you are using the VS Code, so you can right click on it on this function name and so choose function for find all references. So you will find where the actual stack of this function. So you are yeah.
So yeah, probably that second file, right? The pattern handler.go.
Pattern handler.go.
Yeah, one of those 6.
So one is for because Meshery supports multiple formats, Docker Compose, Manifest, and Helm chart. So for each of these formats, we need to convert from the original format to design format. and this is an intermediary function which is required.
Yeah.
So this particular, yeah, okay. Right, this particular, this says, hey, if the source type is either a compose file or a manifest file, then blah, blah. So, and that you're just saying that's why there's like 6 uses of this. Yeah. Anyway, Isabel, I'm about to give up on the first name. Dayang, is that about what you needed, or like, do you have more questions on this?
No.
Okay.
I got it.
You got okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Don, is there anything that any other thing that you want to share, or?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump to the next from Mayo. Mayo, would you like to share about your update on the new AWS controller for?
Yeah, sure. Let's share my screen. Yeah, so for this project and new the new modules, and I think this like new modules, this helm checks has already like been in these folders. Are this like already been implemented, or should I like add more like relationship of them, or I think they have like been already in the code, and I already like checked the UI. Yeah, I think they have like been these like registries. So is that like being implemented, or should I add more things? Like yeah, should there's like be more work to do?
Sorry, I missed the first part, but you are trying to add new relationships for Elastic Container Registry, right?
Yes, this was trying to add new controller, but I think this controller has been already added. Is that right?
Okay. Yes. I think we have already completed this issue, and this was like not marked as closed. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can continue forward with like adding new relationships. Like we have components already for this components, but we are still missing the relationships that we talked about. And I previously shared the link for like how you can define a reference PR. So I will again share it, and you can start from there.
Yeah, okay.
If you
For
like
the relationships, and
Yes.
yeah. Could you give me like some PR examples so I can like learn from them? Yeah, okay, that's my question, and I have one like this. Maybe suggestions. Yeah, so why? First look at this. I think this is like very similar to the the dog harp. So you can post your designs. But why I think this like some of these just be untitled or like tested or demoed. So maybe we can like order them like by by some order or they modified something. So this seems like be more like fairable. Yeah, since we can like see now it's like too many.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so that's my sharing.
And if you go to the other view card table view, we have some of the filters, like some of the filters for like recently updated or something. So you might first start with adding those filters inside grid view. That could be a good. would start for adding filters.
Okay. Okay, sure.
I think that would be a nice suggestion. I will encourage you, Maya, to create an issue and put your thoughts and suggestion what you think can be improved.
Yeah, okay, I'll
That would be
create one.
nice.
Okay.
Yep. So we are on time, everyone, and I will wait for 5 seconds to if anyone have any urgent item that want to discuss, or otherwise we will wrap up today's.
Sorry if I may, there's a pending issue that has been there for a while. Responsiveness of the remote providers page. I don't know if you can take a look at it. Yeah. So I just wanted to sound it up. The person working on it earlier, I don't know. I think it was a scene, but I'm not sure if we got to it. So maybe we could get someone else aside.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Asim for a while. So Rex, if you're able to remove his assignment and then well, in some respects, actually, I think Mayo, it sounds like you're React comfortable, or you are comfortable with React, is what it sounds like. Or no?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with front end and full stack.
Yeah, got you. Mayo might be a candidate, Rex, or others on the call. If you're into React, Rex has a pretty small challenge for you, a nice kind of getting started challenge. You know, and so he goes by Rex in the Slack channel. Oddly enough, he goes by Rex here and Rex in the Slack. So you'll be sure to find him. If so, he's got a small one of the screens to tidy up and make it responsive, make it mobile friendly. So
I'll probably drop a comment in Meshery Slack channel with the PHP issue. So anybody interested can comment.
Thank you, Rex. Please do make sure that you make an announcement about that so that contributors can look at there. So thank you, everyone. It was a nice call today. We have a productive call today. I think we have left few items we will discuss next week same time. So thank you everyone for joining us today. See you next week same time. I will also encourage okay, sorry, I forgot. Before going to wrap up the call, I will encourage you that tomorrow is our newcomers meeting. So if you are new to today's call, I will encourage you to join the newcomers meeting. Over there, you will you will find an opportunity to meet with mentors and other maintainers, and you can ask any question you have regarding contribution, how you can be successful over here, any opportunity you are looking for, and how you can contribute. There are a bunch of questions I think you might have and you are not able to ask in this meeting. So that meeting is pretty much helpful for you. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Bye.
see ya. Bye.